Welcome, Saud. You've travelled over from Teesside, where you now live, but originally you're from Balochistan.
Yeah, I was born in Noshki, Balochistan in Pakistan, and then I moved to Middlesbrough in 2016. My work always reflects on history, landscape, and environment of the region that lies at the center of my drawings and sculptures. Balochistan is a province of Pakistan where exists ongoing insurgency, we can say, and my work look at how contemporary political environment impact on the events and perceptions of ordinary people. So I make sculptures and drawings which relate to these themes. I make my sculptures from different materials like stone, gilding, and clay.
Can you give us just a little brief background? For example, how long has this insurgency been, and is the insurgency a territorial one to remove central Pakistan control?
I think it's been since the partition, so it's coming and going thing. So it's been there for 1948, when the British left, I think. So and growing up in that, with that kind of idea and daily experience and.
So you were born not only into the insurgency, but a history and a legacy.
Yes, yeah, and I remember when I was start my proper practice, I went to study to Lahore. Lahore is a big city of Pakistan, one of the big city in Pakistan. So there's an institution called NCA, National College of Arts. So I did my bachelor's from there. And before that, I just was doing my practice, drawing and painting, I think most of the time. When I went there, so there was a proper institution, so to focus on contemporary art, and then I start realizing what is the basically art is about. And then gives me that opportunity to express my feelings and things, yeah.
And does your art, do you think, come out of your experiences within that situation of conflict and violence?
I think it was somewhere always, it's like a metaphorical burden on you, and it's a psychological impact. So yes, I think it was coming, but I didn't know how to bring it out, which way I should bring it out and express it, I think. Yes, I just remember when I was doing my thesis in NCA, so I was looking for different approaches, and because I was doing sculpture, so it was a lot of thinking, and so how you gonna execute a work. So I remember I start making a work. It's called Burden. So it's a figurative sculpture carrying a lot of jute. It's like bags, the body bags basically. So so that was the turning point. So then I start different. That was a turning point for my work basically. So then I started knowing what I'm going to do. So yes.
And you use different media. You referred to stone, sculpture, drawing. Is there any particular, let's say, thinking behind which medium you use at a particular time?
I think when I was making building sculptures with the clay and most of the time, and when I came to Middlesbrough, there was a show coming in Pakistan. So it was my first solo show. So when I came to Middlesbrough, I didn't know what to do basically, because I didn't know the region. I didn't know anything, and then I started collecting these stones from. It was accidentally, basically. So I went to Skilling Grove. There is a mining spot, so I started collecting these stones from there. And then it reminds me the resources from Balochistan. We have gold mines and things, so I started shaping them. I've found some shapes and in them, and then I built on them a little by my own. So that's how I start using stones. And the drawings also came here in the UK, so because I needed to do something, and I started these large scale drawings. Mostly I made with the pen. So it's a very like a detailed process. So I make small circles and a dot inside, and these came from when I was doing my graduation. So there's a dot. They come from the bullet holes and wounded bodies, and so because I think and a bomb creators. And then recently I was looking at some references from aerial views of the land, and most fascinated, I think I was doing a circle drawings, a big large imperfect, I call them imperfect circle. So it came from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I take different references and to mix them and make something. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
And in terms of exhibition of your work, you've had shows back in Balochistan, and I'm wondering, given the political censorship and the difficulty sometimes in taking positions within that community, in that society, has that had any impact on your...
Yeah, it's a good question, because you have to find a way how to represent your work, because there's a lot of censorships. You not be very direct, and you have to find a way, play with the visuals, and so I think that's a hard thing as well. You have to find a way to express it, because it's not a good place to express yourself, because there's still a lot of journalists and political activists and students said they are missing, and the people don't know where they're gone. So it's been going for 20 years now. So yeah, so you have to be very careful how you show your work. Yeah.
And you've exhibited in both Balochistan, Pakistan, and in the UK. Have you had any responses to your work that is kind of you find interesting? It could be critical, it could be supportive, but anything that's kind of affected your next stage of work?
I think it's always like I like to show my work in Pakistan, because I want to know the ordinary people know about the situations, and it's a different. I think I got when I did a show in 2016. It called Under the Dust. So it was, and then I was like telling you about what happened before the show. There was a bomb blast in Quetta, so there was 75 casualties, and there are more practicing lawyers were died in that incident. And then one of them was one of my first cousins, and then so I got a lot of like reviews, and there's a lot of people coming in the show, and because I dedicated the show about those people, so that was I got a lot of reviews and some critique and some very good reviews, and yeah.
And in terms of your own growing up in that society and community, are there particular either episodes or feelings that you find come into the fore with your work? Are there any particular kind of narrative stories, experiences that you find inspire you?
Yeah, I think it's always because when I started work, Papa, so it's also about the missing persons, because I heard a lot of story and I know a lot of people who told stories about their experience in the prisons, so in the torture cell. So I think that was, the start. So I bring those things in my work, and I still have a work called No Fear. So I did it in my, I think it was third year in my graduation. So it was myself, self body, wearing a hooded, and with the tied hand. So yeah, it was, I think, I felt it very personal, and I think it's in a lot of work I show myself a lot in my work. So.
And you've been to many of these events that's been organised by Róisín as part of the network. How has that kind of fed into, how have you responded to the different interdisciplinary experiences and viewpoints? Has it been helpful?
I think it's been a very helpful. It's kind of same thing happened here in the past. So, but I think it is for me a very good addition for my future work, and knowing a lot of different things and meeting intellectuals. And I think it's my first experience, but I think it's very beneficiary for me.
Okay, I think that's probably, I didn't watch the time, but I think that's covered most things. Is there anything else? Okay, thank you very much.